Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. Thank you for joining our podcast 227th. This is a big journey for us. So I just want to take a quick moment to thank everybody, whoever helped directly and indirectly to reach out this milestone. Absolutely, we have an amazing guest for today. But before that, I want to share a couple of things with you guys. My name is Sivam Velaidam, and I am the founder and president at Voice of Men 360. Voice of Men 360 is a non-profit organization founded in 2020 in London, Ontario, Canada, dedicated to supporting men and boys through life challenges. We align with the International Men's Day movement and its six pillars, which promote the well being of men and boys worldwide. Open Up creates a safe, inclusive space for people from all walks of life to share their life journeys, challenges, and triumphs. The program airs Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, featuring one guest per episode. Before I introduce our special guest today, I would like to review our disclaimer with you. We would like to remind everyone that Voice of 360 is committed to promoting peaceful harmony in all our interactions. Sorry. The views and opinions shared by our speakers are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Voice of 360. Please note that our content is not a substitute for professional or medical or therapeutic advice. If you are struggling with personal challenges, we strongly encourage you to reach out to a qualified expert. For questions or concerns about today's episode or any of our content, feel free to email us at info at voicesummon360.org. Again, like I said earlier, we have an amazing guest for today. His name is uh, Triston Brewer. But also, I just want to quickly give you another very, very big important announcement. Canada's men and boys health strategy. The government of Canada is engaging provincial and territorial governments, indigenous partners, and key stakeholders to develop a men and boys health strategy. The goal is to create supportive and safe environments, challenges harmful stereotypes, reduce stigma, and encourage men of all ages to seek help when they need it. Improving the health of men and boys is a shared effort. The factors that lead to poor health outcomes for men and boys are complex and interrelated and don't begin in adulthood. Join the conversation. Your voice is important. Complete the questionnaire by June 1st, 2026. Organization and experts are encouraged to submit written briefs responding to their questions. You can complete the questionnaire. I'm going to share that link shortly. So please do your voice, do your part. This is very important, and this is the deadline is June 1st. Once again, we have Tristan Brewer, creative director, cultural strategist, journalist from all the way from Portugal. Um, Thank you, Tristan, for joining today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, Steve. I'm glad this should be an interesting hour.
Absolutely. So we will be focusing a couple of areas. Let's say start with one important question, though. After working across different cultures and industries for more than 30 years, what are some of the biggest emotional struggles and identity challenges you see boys and men facing today, especially the ones many people still don't openly talk about?
Well, I mean, I think it's like I said before, I've lived in so many different countries and worked with so many people from so many different backgrounds. And I think for me, it all goes back to community because it doesn't matter which language you speak, which country you're in, young men and boys, they need to have a sense of community. And I think when you meet them where they are, it's so much easier to get that broad ground stroke of support, because I had it. I think by having it so early on, I was able to give it back. And I've worked with people in China. I work with people in Spain. But at their core, everybody wants to succeed, and you have to find a way to help them succeed and meet them where they are.
Absolutely. When you look at some of the issues, some of them are very common one, but when you go a little bit deeper and deeper culturally or any ways that some of them are very different one. They have a different challenges too, right? So it is always good to know what's going on in the world, especially in men's world, especially in the last 5, 10 years though. Um, so many men are taught to stay strong, provide, and keep emotions hidden. In your opinion, how has this shaped the culture, current men's mental health crisis, and what damage does that silence create over time?
I think for me, looking back, like I told you before, I turned 50 last month, and I had a very stoic father in the general sense of the term. That's his generation. But when I really think about it, he was a little bit more progressive. You know, he talked to me more. He didn't just talk at me, and that for him, for his generation, I have to concede that was a very big step for him. He gave me the steps that I've learned through him to bring it to the next generation. I think so often right now, what we have with these young kids, they are brought up in a way where they're not even talking to their parents. There's all there. You have social media, you have everybody pulling at their ear, the bullying online. You know, it's a lot. And for me, as I'm the only generation that will ever be half in the analog world and half in the digital world. And for me to be able to see the differences, they will never understand it. They will never understand what it's like to not have a cell phone, to have to use MapQuest, print it out, walk, ask people, talk to people. That sense of connection that you learn just talking to people, they're missing out on it. And that is one of the cornerstones of shaping young minds today. They need to learn how to communicate in person and leave the digital world on the side sometimes. It's really important to get away from your phone and social media. I really believe that.
Absolutely. We've seen or even witnessed time to time a lot of cases, a lot of stories, on a daily basis we hear. And it's I mean the way it you use it, right? Because sometimes right now even ourselves use social media, but make it more benefit for other people, and it's a benefit for everybody, right? Not in other way around or spending too much time, but it's also killing or mentally and physically a lot of people too. So it's a very very true, and people have to pay attention to that. People everywhere we're talking, even in the morning in our Tamil podcast, we were talking about that too. So yeah, many young boys, men are turning to online means for content for guidance, identity, and a sense of belonging. Why do you think this space has become so influential, and what emotional or social gaps is it filling?
Well, first of all, it's because it's easy. It's in their hands. When I teach my younger students, and I always tell them, everything you want to know is literally in the palm of your hands. This is a blessing and a hindrance, because you have to decide, how much am I going to let this dictate my life? Because when I tell them, when you Google your favorite artist, and you should learn the history of this artist. You should always Life did not begin from your conception. There's a long history before you. And I feel like the kids today, it's really hard for them to cipher through everything, because there's so much coming at them at every angle. But it is important. Again, like I say again, it's important to find your community. You can find it online. It's so much easier for them to connect, but they're not using their social media properly. And it's very easy to fall into these silos that are telling them, if you just look like this, if you just say this. You learn by trial and error through social interaction. That is the best way to move forward. And men today they're moving towards movements that tell them not to emote, to be stoic. We're There is no reason for us not to connect even more, because now we know what to do. We've done the studies, we've done the research. Now we need to apply it, because these kids today, they really, the digital world, they will have to live with it. They will always have to live with it. They have to learn how to manage it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big cap. Also, I think one of the areas, or we don't even realize it. The other side of the coin, like, I mean, who is real? What's the real content? And what kind of message they are getting from whom, right? So it's very easy, of course, but at the same time, how many people they pay attention? Okay, what is it real? What is it I'm getting, or what kind of influence I'm getting, right? After
You know,
some
you
time.
said before, as you said before, we this is very new for all of us. This is 5 or 10 years we're into this, and there certain countries are approaching it in different ways. Because, like, for example, when I lived in China, the TikTok that they use in China is very different from the way that it's used in the States. So you cannot really compare the two. As we This is such a new area to even be discussing, but we have to discuss it because we're here, and there are not even proper laws that are in place now to properly um, manage everything that's coming. So whether you're a parent or you're a teacher or you're a mentor, you need to be aware of what's going on in the manosphere and the social media, because your kids are your students. They're in it, and you need to be somewhat knowledgeable about what's going on, because there's no way you cannot approach them properly if you don't know what's going on.
Absolutely, it's very, very important. It's critical, but also on the other hand, parents and I would say the teachers too. They are facing a real tough time in some places, in some Asian countries, even in every country. I can't say. Um, let's talk about miseducation of boys. When you hear the phrase "the miseducation of boys and young men," what does it truly mean to you? Where do you think society, schools, media, or even families are failing boys today?
If you read the articles and you listen to what's going on, if you listen to everything, it's telling you that men are the problem, and it's not even that is not the answer. It's not that men are the problem. They are not meeting young boys and men where they are now, because it is, after study has shown that men who learn how to socially interact, they live longer, they're healthier, mentally, physically, in every way. And if men are not connecting with the opposite sex, their friends, their family, if they're totally disconnected from anybody and everything, there is no way to advance in any direction. The only way to approach them is to find out what the problem is, because it's very easy to make these sweeping statements, but your child is your child, your student is your student, and if you're able to have these honest conversations with them, you will be able to
Tristan?
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I said for a few years I stopped teaching and mentoring because I really felt like there weren't proper things in play for us as teachers. I had to where our hands were tied. Some of us were studying more, and let us try this approach or this approach. There was no formal approach, and so as you said before, we're 5 or 10 years now. In it, and we're doing a little bit better, and we need to interact more, not less. That's what we need to be applying ourselves at this moment.
Well, one question I want to add here. Um, so when it comes to boys or even young men, what do you think the society and even on the opposite partner, let's say female, um, women or ladies, how much they understand. Okay, you know what I mean. I'm talking about genuinely. Okay, you know, accept it. Okay, I mean, boys and young men, they do have a real problem, especially with education and things like that. What do you think?
I think it's again, I think it's women are better able. They do better because they socialize better. They don't have these. They've always been at a disadvantage in the workplace, so they are usually more social because they have to be to succeed. And I think men have taken it for granted that they've been able to succeed. And now we have women that are making more money than men. You know, you have more women graduating from college, university, and this is affecting men in a different way because now women don't need to marry. They don't. It's not necessary for them to marry. In certain cultures, it's not even expected anymore. So some men, if they feel like, oh, I have to be do A, B, and C to get a woman or to be in a relationship, you have to heal yourself before you bring anybody else into the equation. And most men don't even have a best friend. They don't have anybody to talk to. How are you going to mature as a person if you don't have a confidant to confide in, to tell them your fears, to tell them for my father to say the things to me that he said to me, it is a blessing that I wish every young person could have. I wish everybody could have that, and that's the main reason why I mentor because for a person his age and from his generation to be so open and honest, I'm the next generation. I cannot do less. You know, I should be able to better express my feelings and say how what I do not like and what I accept in my life. It should be easier for me, and it is. It is. And it wasn't
Uh,
just my father who raised me. It was my pastor. It was my teachers, my professors. They all impacted me in ways I've been able to take to a different generation.
well said. I would think I agree totally because last couple of generation or so many years, that's the way we've grown up. That's the way we raised, you know, culturally or you take anything. Um, that's the way we understood even ourselves. So verbalizing or even sharing our emotional challenges or anything, it's very limited when it comes to young boys even now. But the thing is, like we see some sort of changes, but it needs a lot of education, a lot of awareness too. Absolutely. Let's talk about healthy masculinity versus performance masculinity. Do you think many men today are performing masculinity rather than truly understand themselves? What does a healthy masculinity actually look like in practice?
I think healthy masculinity is expressing the full range of emotion. And I will give you an example. When I was 27, I had a dear friend, but he was 30. He was older than me, and he wanted to tell me a very personal story. He was so caught up in himself that he could not even release the story. He was just clenched. He was crying, but he could not get the words out because he'd never said it out loud before. And for him to try to even say it to me, it was an effort that made me uncomfortable because I said I never want to be the kind of person where I cannot say it because it has been bottled inside of my body for so long that when I need to get it out, I can't even get it out. That is a problem I've never had, and it's also um, indicative of how men are usually taught to be. They can express rage and angst, but they can't express vulnerability. And there's a strength in vulnerability. There's a strength in failing. When you fail, you succeed. If you pick yourself up and then you move on. And I think young people today, they are they are afraid to fail. They are because it's very easy now for this generation to just go to school and show up. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets an award. That's not how it used to be. You cannot coddle children. You cannot coddle people. You need to let them be the best version of themselves that they're meant to be. Not everybody is meant to be first place. If you get third place, then work harder because life is not easy. It's supposed to be difficult.
Absolutely. You are 100% right, because the thing is like, if it is everything easy, and then if everyone is going to be number one, then what's the point? How are you going to learn? What we going to learn? So as a human being, there are a lot of the universe doesn't work like that. So you had to. Everyone has their own journey. You had to suffer. So you had to learn. You had to learn. You had to, face challenges. Of course, anything you come across, you have to. That's your own journey, own experience, right? So there's no other way around. So you cannot, absolutely, nowadays. Yes, the younger generation, they are expecting, uh, you know very simple, and then everything on in your hand, but it's not. Let's talk about mentorship and direction. You have mentored younger creatives and worked with people from many backgrounds. What are some qualities, conversations, or guidance that boys and young men desperately need from older male role model today?
And this is gonna sound funny, but I think young boys and men, they need to have discipline in failing. When I started, like I told you before, I started out as an opera singer. I used to go on auditions when I was 7 years old until I was 22. I didn't always hear yes. I heard a lot of no's. I heard a lot of them. I failed a lot of times, but I kept auditioning. I kept trying. This is what I always tell my younger students. You need to be disciplined to fail. Be disciplined to pick yourself up and move on. Because if you waddle and you dawdle, you get nothing. And it sounds like tough love, but it's not really tough love, because the more you fail, you will see if you do it right. When you fail, you pick yourself up, you reassess, and then you move on, and then you improve. That's how life works, and there's no shortcut. There is no magic pill. It's literally being diligent and vigilant with yourself and putting yourself out there. That is, and I say it so many different ways, but at its core, that's really what it is. It's about being resilient and being able to venture out and be vulnerable. Because I've been rich, I've been poor, I've had everything, I've had nothing, and nothing happened overnight. I've written books. I never thought I would write books in my life. If somebody had told me that German would be my second language, I would never have thought this. But that is my life. There is no blueprint for what I do. If you are your singular person, there is no blueprint for you. You are the blueprint. The only person that can decide what your life is going to be is you. I have amazing friends. They advise me on a number of things. I love having people that I can discuss my dreams, my hopes, and my aspirations to. But at the end of the day, I have to center myself and choose me, and I make the decision. I make it.
Absolutely, yeah. The old saying is like, how much we can motivate other people. It's not. I mean, we can motivate as long as they want, but the thing is like, end of the day, they have to move themselves. They have to push themselves, right? It cannot happen from outside. It has to come from inside, though, right? So it's very crucial. I do have a few more questions, but before that, I have few announcements to share, Tristan. So stay there, and then I'll come back to you. Okay. Uh, friends, I just shared that the link on that. You can see that it is very important. One of them is for the announcement. Canada government announce it, and then you can fill up the questionnaire. You can share your input. The other one is actually Voice of Men 360 is running or planning to do a project helping male caregivers who is serving for helping special needs and autism people. So please fill out this survey earlier as possible. The deadline is June 30, and then We need some result. So if we can fill it out, that's perfect. And if we can share with other people, that's also very helpful. The other one is open up. We have what you are listening and watching is that open up, sharing your life journey on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then there's a monthly men's group meeting only for men by men. Second Saturday of every month from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Through Zoom. No recordings. Please join through Zoom. The link is available on our Facebook page and group. The other thing is there are no limitations on gender, age, nationality, or ethnicity. People from all walks of life can participate in any of our shows. If you like to be a guest on any of our shows or are interested in joining our organization, whether directly or indirectly, please reach out to us. We would love to work with individuals, professionals, experts, community organizations, associations, corporations, and government officials, of course, and businesses. Phone number is 226-289-8784. Email address is info@voiceomen360.org. Website www.voiceomen360.org. You can find us on all the social media, Facebook group page. Join our group to see our daily activities. Please invite your friends as well. Other social media platforms are Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, and of course YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, VoiceOmen 360. We want to reach out to more people and help more. Please continue your support. Coming back to Tristan, so I have a one word question answer. So let's see that. One word to describe the current state of modern masculinity. I know.
Can you can you repeat the question again?
One word to describe the current state of modern masculinity.
Um, Pressing, urgent,
Absolutely. A habit every young man should develop early in life.
um, resilience,
Absolutely. Strongest quality in a man.
vulnerability,
Yeah, always. Something a society misunderstands about boys.
the journey,
Yeah,
the journey.
absolutely. One message you would keep it to a struggling young man right now.
If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell myself to be patient, and everything that I always wanted and things I never ever even dreamed about will happen if I will just be patient.
Absolutely, yes. All right. So the final thought is that if you had the opportunity to speak directly to boys and young men around the world who feel lost, angry, disconnected, or unheard, what final message would you want them to carry with them after listening to this conversation?
I think it's important that we live in this such a fast-paced world that I will tell younger people, have some grace with yourself. You know, everything doesn't have to happen in a New York minute. You know, you New York was not made in a day. You know, you don't find friends overnight. You have to cultivate these things. You have to find your tribe. You have to find the people that inspire you or make you want to be a better person. It took me 20 years to find them, and they were worth it. But I had to put in the time. I had to put in the effort. I had to test people. I had to audition people. Would these people work for my life? Were they people that would motivate me to be a better version of myself? You have to pick and choose these people, and that involves trial and error. And if you want the best for yourself, you will curate that experience for yourself.
Absolutely, that's beautiful. I also want to add one thing though. Even though we're saying easy, then before, like you spend, you said 20 years to learn these things, but nowadays a lot of people are sharing their life experiences, and you can go to YouTube or TikTok or any um, social media, and then you can watch some of the videos, and then you can even um, read some of the articles, even books. But at the same time, how many people are really applying and then take it seriously, and then taking their life into a positive, impactful journey? You know what I mean? So it's very critical, though.
I mean, well, that's the danger of social media and like of YouTube. You can find anything to fit your mood of that time. And if you want to be dreary and unfeeling, there's a void for that. It's very easy to curate your existence that way. You have to learn how to censor yourself because I could easily just watch politics all day, and I love politics, but I don't. But I know if I watch politics in its current form all day, I will be depressed. It will make me. But you can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to learn how to. You have to know your own chemistry. You have to know what sets me off, what pleases me, what doesn't please me. You have to know. You have to try. Say, I don't want this anymore. I don't want it. And if once you get to that point where you know yourself enough to say no, no is an answer, is a complete sentence. And some people don't understand it. No is a complete sentence. And you need to learn how to use and voice yourself and know when to leave the room and know when enough is enough. And it took me 20 years to learn that too. And once you learn it, you never go back. You never go back.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I really appreciate that. I agree with that. So I just displayed Tristan 212. So when you type it, you can find all the social media links. So you guys can, the audience, please check out him. And then if you have questions or if you want to connect with him, absolutely, you can connect on LinkedIn and other social media platforms too. So thanks a lot, Tristan. This is a very pleasant conversation. So I'm I'm very positive that people who are watching, and even whoever was going to watch, they will get some sort of message, and then they can make some impactful, positive, impactful in their life. Though, thank you.
Thanks for having me on here. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. Again, one more time, the links for the survey that's here, and also uh, for the government of Canada, the complete. I mean, you had to complete the questionnaire that's here. So please fill out these ones. Thanks a lot once again, and then everybody, see you next time, and then thank you.